lateness. It wasn't as a result of the cab being late. Graham has summed up the position precisely, so has our brother here. But let me just say this. I think we've got to take this extremely seriously now, because I'm a London MP. If we allow this government to continue on the way it is doing in terms of deregulation, to be honest, the cab trade will die over the next decade if we're not careful. And that's because they're intent on deregulation. Cameron and Osborne, if you remember, welcomed Uber. They were arguing this would be a benefit to society, there'd be more people employed and all the rest of it. And yet, if you're a London cab driver, you know better than anyone else at the moment, we're under complete threat. We had the deregulation bill, we had Uber come along, and then we have out there people with rickshaws that menace us on the bloody road, quite honestly, undermining the trade as well. So I'm concerned now that if we don't win this argument, that's a proper statutory definition, that we can then ensure there's some enforcement of, we could be in a situation where we lose the trade altogether over the next decade. And I think that's how serious the threat is at the moment. Is Mark White here, my constituent? Mark is here. Mark spends more time on Twitter than he does driving his car. Mark will tell you, follow him on Twitter, because it's a good day-by-day example of what people are suffering from at the moment. Try to just earn a living as a result of what the threat is at the moment, and also as a result, to be frank, of lack of enforcement of the existing legislation. That's why we're arguing for a very clear definition in law that we can then use to enforce and regulate. This government has been intent on complete deregulation right the way across public services. And we need to make sure we're clear with people, we are a public service. This is a public service. And it's been developed over generations. There was in our briefing we've given to MPs, we say actually it's 400 years in London since the first cabs arrived. Gerald hailed that at the time. The issue for us is over that period of time, we've developed a system which, to be frank, keeps people safe, provides a good service at a reasonable price. What we're finding, we've included in the briefing that we've circulated, we've included example after example where deregulation has taken place elsewhere, and also on some vehicles, the cowboys out there, where it's unsafe, where women have been attacked in particular about travelling in the cabs because they're unsafe as well, because of that deregulation. Graham mentioned the issue around insurance. The cowboys out there, as you know, to be frank, ignore insurance regulations themselves, and that includes, I have to say, the rickshaws become my personal obsession at the moment. But right way across the piece, everything we've built up to protect our passengers is being undermined as a result of deregulation. And I think it's one of those things, you know, we've got to explain to people. Once you've lost it, it's gone forever, to be frank, and you'll look back and think, why can't I hire somewhere where I feel safe, or my wife or my children can travel safely and I've got confidence in it? And that's what's happening at the moment. Now, I think if we can get the arguments across, the seriousness of this threat, I think we can build up a cross-party majority in here to get the regulation through. But we need help on that. We need your help on that. The arguments that have been put forward, you've had Graham, Gerald, you had Ian Ladies and others, David Lammy and others, they've been coming here. And our brother here, who used to be a cab driver, he's gone down in the world, Clive, but never mind. He used to have to earn an honest living. No. I've been putting the arguments consistently over the recent period, and we've been building up an element of support, but we need your help now on the breakthrough. The lobby today is important. We've got to start eyeballing individual MPs to explain to them the threat that there is, not just to the trade, but to their constituents now, their constituents. And what I'd like you to do, in addition to the lobby today, what we'd like you to do as well is start booking appointments with your local MPs back in the constituencies. Invite them down to meet you or go to their offices to ask for an appointment at their surgery and take them through the arguments. And then the first step of them expressing their support is to sign the early day motion that Graham has put down, which sets out the arguments and puts in the demand itself. But then the second stage of that is get them to link up with us, or the RMT Parliamentary Group and others, when we do the push for the new legislation. When we look to see either we amend existing legislation that's going through, or we demand a completely new bill that will be put before the House itself. And we'll look at the parliamentary devices to how we do that. But it's important now that you help us build up that momentum and body of support. And I think you've got to get across the urgency of this matter, the urgency, not just as for the trade, as I say, but for their constituents. We could be in a situation soon where the cowboys begin to rule the roads, certainly in London and beyond as well. And you can see that beginning to happen in your day-to-day experiences already. And we've got to call a halt to that. Because I think we're getting to a situation where we could be a tipping point if we're not careful. So we've got to shake these individual MPs up and recognise actually there's large numbers of votes in this, not just us, our members and their families and all the rest of it, but the travelling public as well, who are concerned about the safety of their families as they travel. So thanks for coming today, but today is the beginning of a campaign of lobbying now over the next 6 months, so we bring more MPs in to support us and we press for the legislation. This is too important for the whole community for it to be seen as just one group of workers trying to protect themselves. It's much broader than that. It's about safety, it's about delivery of a public service, and it's making sure MPs recognise their responsibilities to protect that service. Thank you very much.